Dust off your riding boots and stock up on crash helmets because the motocross physics classic Trials is back with their new Xbox Live Arcade title, Evolution.
Will you be the death of me?
Evolution takes Trials out of its warehouse and into the craziest, most expansive environments you can dream of, from a World War II beachhead to Limbo. But thankfully they haven't tampered with Trials' core of fun, a seemingly simple system of leaning forward and back that belies physics deeper than a Mary Poppins bag. Like older gameplay systems such as California Games BMX, you have to align your axle to the angle of the ground when you land. But it's not that simple this time around. Before, there were only bits of wood set at different angles. Now there are genuinely curved pieces of track, requiring a deft touch on the accelerator. Something as seemingly basic as charging up a steep hill can be a challenge. It's necessary to put your weight on the front so you don't flip back. But too much weight on the front, and your back wheel jerks up, losing its traction. And it's not just vital to keep your back wheel on the ground during hill climbs. In a game about finishing as fast as possible, you need to make sure you're always being propelled forward. Unwanted bounces slow you down. So, while getting sick air is cool, it's more important to line up your jumping arcs to the hills of the track. Some jumps, though, are downright treacherous. Take this jump here. Hit it full speed, this ramp is designed to take you into that gap. What do then? You can play it safe and hit the ramp softly to avoid the gap. Or if you're daring enough, you can manipulate the physics of your bike with a quick flick, getting a bit of extra distance. And as you get to know the tracks, you'll know which jumps are tricky, which ramp to hit at 80% speed to get that perfect landing, all the ins and outs before you cross the finish line, fly off into the moon, and explode. Think I'm joking? In fact, just about every track ends with a hilarious dose of pain, something best illustrated with 10 seconds of unedited game footage. There are lots of tracks in Trials Evolution. They're all awesome. But you'll still probably grind through them quickly due to the addictive nature of the game. So, good thing there's a track editor that the developers actually used to make everything in the single-player mode. You don't actually have to use it, but the ability to share tracks means a potentially never-ending supply of Trials. And of course, Evolution has multiplayer as well. These tracks are a bit simpler, and they kind of have to be, but all the physics factors we mentioned before still come into play. Faulting or falling behind will mean 1 point is deducted from your score at the end. It's a fair system. Single player is still the main attraction, but they succeeded in making multiplayer both fun and competitive. This is all stuff you'll do when Trials inevitably becomes a bit too much. The extreme tracks are full of impossible angles and wheelie jumps that'll see you hammering that restart button into the wee hours of the morning while that fault counter ticks away in the top corner of the screen. And that brings us to Endgame. The new Trials might be lacking in customization options, and we really would have liked to see an offline multiplayer feature like Need for Speed's Autolog. But who are we kidding? Evolution is fantastic, this game is addictive as hell, and it has damn near everything. Come April 18th, if your 360 is connected to the net, this is a must-buy.